日本時間4月22日、米国時間4月21日、リグリー、フィールドで行われたカブス対フィリーズ戦は、シカゴ、カブスが7対4で勝利し、7連勝を達成した。試合の主役となったのは今永昇太と鈴木誠也の日本人コンビだった。先発の今永昇太は7回を投げて3安打1失点と安定した投球を披露。持ち味の制球力と投球術で相手打線を封じ、試合を作る力を改めて証明した。一方、鈴木誠也は7回に飛距離441フィートの今季第1号本塁打を放ち、試合の流れを決定づけた。試合後のインタビューでは、打撃フォームとタイミングを修正できたと語り、復調の兆しを見せた。この日のカブスは12安打10四球と打線が粘り強く出塁し続け、終盤に一気に得点を重ねた。序盤は好機を逃す場面もあったが、攻撃の圧力をかけ続けることで勝利を引き寄せた。試合後の番組では、解説陣が全員が役割を理解し、チームとして機能していると分析。今永の安定感と鈴木の一発を軸に、カブスの快進撃はさらに続きそうだ。
It is time for Cubs Post-Game Live, presented by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. I'm Cole Wright. That's Elise Menaker, the Hall of Famer. And every player today that was in the lineup, whether they were a starter or a reserve, they made sure they were on the base paths, and that is a good thing, Elise.
Over this 7-game win streak, that's really been the theme. Everyone doing their part, being ready, contributing in whatever way they're asked. And that's the name of the game. Like, you have one of the youngest players in the game, Moises Ballesteros, coming up with a big at-bat off the bench. And so, up and down the lineup. And again, Nico Horner setting the tone at the top.
What's new?
Right. And early on, it felt like there were missed opportunities, period. And we'll highlight that. But with this team and the way they're rolling right now, you're really just waiting for the offense. It's not a matter of if, now it's when. Maybe there was a point early on in the season as they were trying to get in the flow and rhythm. There was some bad weather they were playing in early.
Everyone has to play in it, right?
Everyone has to play in it, but I do believe that when you're trying to find your groove as a team, yeah, that can be a part of it. It's not fun to hit in cold weather. I'm not saying like that was an excuse or anything. Now, just everyone, there's just a rhythm and a flow to this team. Everyone knows what they're being asked to do, and everyone's just trying to do their job. Like, I think of the bunt late in the game from PCA, right? Just getting on base, getting stuff going.
I was a fan of that.
Do I know you were a fan of that? If only you guys were in the studio when that happened. But all those little things, they're adding up. They're adding up to wins, and now it's 7 in a row.
And we see a player like Dansby Swanson, not a hit tonight, but he did have 3 free passes. His ability to put fingerprints on a ball game each and every single time he's in Craig's lineup, that is huge. Also huge, Seiya Suzuki, and that's getting us to our Make Life Brighter moment of the evening, presented by Pella Windows and Doors. And this one, an absolute no-doubter. We were talking about it all game long, saying that Seiya, he needed just a few well-struck balls, and this one really got the ball rolling and then left nothing to the imagination. That one hit all the way to Six Flags.
Bombski, 441. I love, can we call it a bat flip? That drop.
Okay.
From Seiya?
Yeah, it was emphatic.
Little swag there.
He's going to be riding the American Eagle, maybe the giant drop. Either way, that one had a one-way ticket to Great America. You see Seiya Suzuki, 441 feet, the longest pump of the season. 10 more feet than Ian Happ right there. Big Mo and Dansby also getting in on the mix. And Dansby with the hardest batted ball of the season for him and his career. Speaking of Seiya Suzuki, though, he's catching up with T-Mac. They're talking about what unfolded tonight.
Thank you. First home run of the season for you. How are you feeling at the plate right now?
今年初ホームランになりましたけど、今打席の調子はいかがですか？あまり良くなかったんですけど、今日打撃コーチとかと話して、自分の打撃を分析してもらって、いい話ができて、それがいい結果につながったのかなと思います。Yeah, I wasn't feeling great, but today. Talked with the hitting coaches, broke down my swing and, discussed the approach, and I think the results showed today, and I think it's feeling good.
What was the approach?
今日のアプローチは何でした？いやちょっとタイミングの部分で遅くなってて、やっぱ強く振ろうっていう意識がちょっと自分のスイングを崩してたところがあったので、そこが修正できたのかなと思います。Yeah, I think I was a little late on the timing, and so I think I was trying to overswing a little bit, and so I think I made the adjustment there.
Every time time I see Nico with you in the dugout after he hits a homer, he's laughing or something. What are you saying to him in those moments?
ニコ選手がホームランを打った後にベンチに入ってきて、鈴木選手と話してる時にいつも笑顔なんですけど、その時何の話をしてるんですか？いや、特にたわいもない話ですけど、ビッグパワーってずっと言ってました。Nothing important. I just tell him big power.
What do you say to Shota Imanaga after an outing like tonight?
今永選手に今日のような投球の後、登板の後にはどういう会話をしますか？いや、いつも通り普通の会話ですけど、今永さんも多分疲れ切ってると思うんで、今日は話しかけずゆっくり休ませたいなと思います。Regular conversation, but he's probably tired tonight, so I'll just leave him alone.
ありがとう。
ありがとう。
Cool.
T-Max, Seiya, Edwin, good stuff, and that was a key catalyst in tonight's ball game. The Cubs, they're now 12-4 when they score 4 or more runs, and for Seiya Suzuki, him getting back in the good graces of Cubs fans, how big was this for him moving forward? Because he's going to be huge for the offensive push.
That's what I was going to say. You need Seiya, especially his slug, because he hits the ball hard and he hits it far, just like an example for tonight. And you can see that he's working on things. I mean, you can quickly forget that this is someone who was injured playing in the WBC, and so maybe it takes just a little extra time for him to find his groove. Hopefully a swing like this, that'll do it. And so just a good job, because he saw a slider essentially in the same spot a couple of times, and so the second time didn't miss it. And that's what you need to do in at-bats, because when you get your pitch, you can't miss it. You're not going to get many of them. And so when you hit it like that, you didn't miss it.
And we had a conversation earlier. It looked as if Seiya was in between. It felt like he was just a touch late on the fastball, and it felt like he was just a tad early on all those off-speed pitches. But on that long ball, he was right on time, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then you heard from him, which I thought was interesting, that he was getting big because he was like trying to compensate for the timing that was off, and then making adjustments mid-game, which is so critical that these guys are constantly trying to do, and so you have to give them credit. And that's, I think, part of what you're seeing during this win streak is there's fight, there's no giving up, there's guys evaluating their process, and it's not one of those things where they're worried about, we need to get the win. It's just, what do I need to do in this moment and win the moment, really, in each game. They're doing a great job of that.
Yeah, we saw Seiya just staying within himself. Sometimes, like you said, you can get too big, but when you think about that swing,
thing you can do.
He could got that swing off in an airplane bathroom. At least it was nice and compact.
Seiya's so strong, he doesn't need it's easy power off his bat, and so I'm sure that felt good for him. First one on the year, and now you just want to see more of it.
Is it going to be in the clubhouse? Okay, Seiya's going now. Everyone else has been going before. Now it's just a group effort.
I think, it's going to ebb and flow. Right now, they're all clicking. This doesn't happen a lot in the season, right? Where it feels like everyone's sitting well at the same time. But the truth is, it feels like that. And you know what? Everyone isn't raking, but guys are coming up when they need to. Because think about the big hit from Michael Busch tonight. Michael Busch hasn't been raking, but he has had 2 big hits in the last week and a half.
He's like he's throwing lawn darts in there, just precisely placed.
And that's just what he needs to do in that at-bat. Everyone's just taking care of what they need to in that at-bat. So it's not that guys are all hitting 300 like Nico Horner, or they're all bunting to get on like Pete, but they're I know, that's why I keep bringing it up. But, they're taking their walks. They're just finding ways to get on base. They're passing the bat, like whatever it takes, again, in that moment to get it done. And so that's why they're also really fun to watch right now, because you can't really look away, because anything can happen at any at-bat.
Yeah, it was really fun watching them score in bunches towards the back half of the game. But earlier on in the contest, bottom of the second, bottom of the third, bottom of the fourth, it's like they had a little in-game practice, didn't they? Setting themselves up.
Yeah, I like how you...
Yeah, collectively, we did a really nice job offensively. But yeah, that was a big hit. We'd certainly put pressure on them for a whole bunch of innings, and it gets a little frustrating when you don't break through. But that was a big hit just to get us a 2-run lead and let us break through. So, but overall, we did a great job tonight offensively. You want the next hit always, but just the number of runners we got on base tonight was really, really impressive. 10 walks, 12 hits. That's a pretty good job.
Just the way he went down in the zone and was able.
Yeah, I thought from at bat 1 tonight, where he, extended an at bat and hit a ball just extended at bat. I thought he took some really good swings in the first at bat. I thought it was a really good sign. So hopefully he's coming around, and obviously that swing makes you feel pretty good about it.
Last time the shoulder we saw so much swinging. This
Yeah.
He upped the fastball.
Yeah.
What do you think they did?
Yeah, I think he was struggling a little bit with the split today, early in the game, especially. Didn't have the command of it maybe like he had in Philadelphia. But sign of a really good pitcher when you can adjust to that, and maybe a little more breaking ball usage tonight. Kind of balls in the ground a lot tonight, which is odd for Shota, but it's not easy facing that team again. 2 starts in a row, and he pitched really, really well.
Played a lot of good team baseball over this streak. I mean, you can't just say starting pitching without including the bullpen, the offense. I mean, this is as good as your team can play right now?
I mean, I can't say that right now. It's April. But I think the starting pitching has been the key to this, I would tell you. When you're getting that deep into a game with your starters and consistently, 6 2/3, 7 innings, 1 run each night, you're putting your team in a really good position, right? And you're not making the offense do everything. They've done a lot. The offense has done a lot, but you're putting your team in a really good position. And with the injuries we've had to a lot of guys, and on the pitching side of it, it lets you put a game together in the back of the game, and only having to get 6 outs or 7 outs or 9 outs, that's a big deal. So kudos to the starting pitching. They've been excellent.
As a manager, your team's getting on base, but you're at a certain point you're 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position when Bush comes up. Are you starting to feel a little different about possible outcome because you're not scoring?
I mean, that's the game, right? The game is sometimes, when does that big hit come? I will always say, let's put pressure on the other team as many innings as we possibly can. And when you do that, something good was happening. 7 runs that's a good offensive night, no matter what we did with runners in scoring position. And it's a product of the pressure we put on in multiple innings. That's going to play over the long run. There's going to be nights where it doesn't play, but that pressure constantly, it's going to play.
Kind of off that, just Moises' at bat, the way he came back down 0-2, and I know you guys weren't able to tack on more after that, but just you mentioned the pressure, just the at bat that he took in that moment to get around.
Yeah, I mean it was a cool moment. I think it's the 5th inning of an April game, and Wrigley is on its feet and enjoying it. And he had a great at bat. He really locked in. I heard him at one point. It was loud, and you hear him at one point like saying no to the pitch, as it's coming in, and that's cool. So to get down 0-2 and draw a walk there, foul off a couple pitches, that's a darn good at bat.
339 more, sure. I remember the meeting.
You guys, this was not what I was referencing.
Vanderlei Industries! Vanderlei Industries!
But I do love Seinfeld.
Okay, all right.
And you know what I was referencing?
Seinfeld?
Chris Farley, you were going 7 miles per hour. And usually when you pull over, you don't pull over on the median.
That's Tommy Boy?
Yeah, it's like Black Sheep or Tommy Boy, but yes.
Oh, okay, those are 2
I think
different
I thought Tommy
movies.
Boy
Either
before,
way,
but it's like Black
We'll
Sheep.
keep things moving there.
Anyways.
We do love any George Costanza reference
We love
right there
Seinfeld,
because, the gang getting us to the insurance play of the game presented by Insure on the Spot. And who was like an insurance policy today? Hey, you need some help? All right, give us some money. And when you need some more help, we're going to make you pay. Look at Shota Imanaga. That's what he was telling those Philadelphia Phillies, because right there, he was filth. Only 1 punch out on the day, but when it came to economy, 10 called strikes, 6 whiffs, 22 in-play strikes, and he was a ground ball, fly ball machine. 11 at the 10. That's what he's all about. You see, versus the Pirates, 6 innings, 0 hits. Tonight versus the Phillies, scattering just 3 of them. He knows that he is going to sleep well tonight. Let's hear what he has to say. He and Edwin addressing the media.
確かに変化球、スプリットだけじゃなくて他の変化球も 少し制球が良くなかったんですけど、それが彼らにとって相手バッターたちにとって危険なボールにならないようにうまく配球できたと思います。
I think besides the split, other off-speed pitches, also the control was a little bit off tonight, but I think I was able to throw it in locations where they couldn't do that much damage.
So when you don't have your off-speed and your splitter the way you want, and you have to lean so heavily on the fastball, just how much trust is there knowing if you hit your spots, you have that defense behind you that can kind of make that work?
そのスプリットの制球が乱れてる時に、まっすぐに頼るというので、まっすぐを投げて、今日みたいにまっすぐに頼って投げて、けど自分の後ろにはもうすごい守備のうまい選手が何人も揃っているっていうのに対してどれほど自信を持ってますか？
そうですね、カブスのディフェンスは30球団の中で一番のディフェンスなので、とにかく長打さえ防げば必ずアウトにしてくれるっていうものがあるので、その点はすごい僕の投球の自信にもつながっています。
Yeah, I think it really helps, with my confidence too, knowing that, behind me, Cubs defense, that's the best in all 30 teams. So, if I can control and avoid damage and extra base hits, I know they're going to get out. So it's a big confidence booster.
Well, Shota, he's been the picture of efficiency. You see most consecutive starts by Cubs pitchers, at least 5 innings, no more than 3 hits since 1901. A 4-pack for the throwing philosopher, and this is taking it one step further. He's given up 3 hits or fewer in 4 straight starts. That's one of the reasons why Craig knows that he can set his watch by Shota Imanaga, just like he can by Colin Ray. How encouraging is it to see Shota go out there and show that he is the guy he was 2 years ago?
I remember when in spring training, Craig Counsell said, hey, you were punched in the mouth. Now you got to punch back. Okay. Shota's punching back. And so you mentioned how he's given up 3 hits or fewer in his last 4 starts. Mm-hmm. He's also kept the ball in the park, only 2 home runs, and he's also not giving up free passes. He only has 4 free passes in the last 4 starts. So it's so interesting how we can go from one start having 11 strikeouts, being really good, and today having 1 and being really good. And that's because today they weren't hitting him hard. Phillies, their average exit velocity was 86. Last time, when he had 11 strikeouts, the average exit velocity was 98.2. So they weren't hitting it when they were hitting it harder. I just love how he can play with his pitches. And even though he's relying mostly on that fastball splitter, he can still make them effective.
I want you to ask him what was the difference between last outing and this outing, because both of them were absolute gems. However, the 11 strikeouts and 26 whiffs tonight, just a 1 strikeout and only 6 whiffs. A little bit different arsenal, but either way, same result. Shota Imanaga, the longest outing by a Cub starter all season long. He was absolutely dazzling.
今回も最後までご視聴いただき、本当にありがとうございました。動画の内容を楽しんでいただけたでしょうか。もしよろしければ、チャンネル登録と高評価をお願いいたします。皆さんの応援が、今後の動画制作の大きな励みになります。それではまた、次回の動画でお会いしましょう。